Welcome everybody. My name is Niels Carsten. I'm from Gibson Pro Audio and I'm actually proud being here in Australia, visiting our distributor Jans and having the possibility to talk about our new V-Series 4. Now the V-Series 4, they're replacing our VXT series which we had before. Now why V-Series 4? Because we had a V-Series 1, very popular V-Series 2, and then the VXTs came out. Now, with the V-Series 4, with the V-Series 4, we applied many changes to what we did with the VXTs. Now, the first thing, as you can obviously see here, is a yellow tweeter. It's not a Silk Dome driver anymore. What we wanted to do is we wanted to take one of our key and legacy products, the KRK Expose, which also featured a Kevlar woofer and a Kevlar tweeter. We wanted to take the same integrity and the same quality and sound into the V-Series and make sure that we have the same transient response and actually a very natural representation of the entire audio range, over the entire audio range and frequency range. Now, the advantage from Kevlar is that it's very lightweight, and lightweighted woofers we apply to all of our products to make sure that the transient response is good. Now, the same now applies also to the Kevlar tweeter, and the other advantage is that by using the same and utilizing the same material on both of these components, we have a very smooth mid-range, a very smooth crossover on these specific frequencies where the vocals and the mid-range frequencies are sitting. Now, talking about the transient response is one thing, but what is also very important is that you can trust the monitor, and whatever you mix on these monitors is representing precisely what you want to do in the studio and what also translates into the real world and to other systems. Now, in order to make sure that your mixes also translate in the real world, we were working with over 100 engineers on these V-Series and took them from one studio to the other and got information from all these different artists we're working with and also different engineers, and asked them like, okay, what do you like, what don't you like, what should we change in the voicing, just to make sure that everything which you're going to work on later is actually something that you can also feel comfortable with and that you can trust, because that's the most important part actually. You know, you mix music and you want to make sure you listen here or you listen there and everybody says like, thumbs up. That's exactly the sound that I had in mind, and don't want to go back to the studio and do it over and over again. Now, and one really good comment we got from a very well-known engineer, Spike Stand. He said these are the best powered monitors that we've ever made, and he's working with KRK since 1994 and working with artists like Ed Sheeran, Muse, Madonna, and Coldplay. So he absolutely knows what he's talking about, and same with Jakir King and Stuart Brawley, all people, I mean, working with Kings of Leon or Michael Jackson. So we're actually very proud that, I mean, and sorry to apologize for all the people that I do not list, but it was really a long list of great artists and engineers we were working with. So in this specific case, thanks for supporting us here. It was a big pleasure, and collecting all this input was very well perceived. Now, another feature which we embedded, which I think is very important, especially for the fact that these days everybody is working in different environments and not everybody has a perfect treated room. Now, we applied different EQ characteristics on these different bands, and instead of utilizing just a low boost or a high boost or, you know, basically a tilt, or cutting frequencies, we applied different scenarios. So there is, for example, a desk filter that you can, around 200 hertz, take down the frequencies by 2 decibels to make sure that when you have your speakers at the meter bridge, there is no masking in the vocals, or the upper bass is not being too much in your face. The same for the mid-range, the same for the top end, and the same for the low end. You can either roll it off or boost it. So when, for example, you put a speaker in a corner, you probably might want to roll off the lows a little earlier. If you have them in freestanding in the room, then in some scenarios you even might want to boost the lows a little bit. But that's actually been covered in the manual. So I think that's something which I actually encourage you also to experiment. I think it's also important that you listen to the sound, you listen to different tracks, and you listen to songs that you know, and then you basically dial in the EQs on the back the way that you want it. I think important is to know, I had once a discussion with somebody who said like, well, I always want to use the monitors flat. I think using a monitor flat only applies if you really have an absolute flat room. Once the room is not flat, then I think you suddenly need to utilize and use your ear and really listen to if this is right or is this wrong. And that's why these EQs are there for. And there's actually 7 for the high frequencies and 7 for the low frequencies. Now, 7 times 7 is 49. So in total, 49 different configurations. And that's definitely enough in order to make sure that the system works in most of the environments. And also the tunings aren't really like spectacularly big, so it's not like 6 dB up, 6 dB down, like some other manufacturers might want to apply. We're really defining within the character of the speaker, but then optimizing for room by boosting 2 or 3 decibels. Another feature which is actually really cool on the V series as well, which is different from the VXTs. The VXTs had a grille which you had to mount from the front. In this particular case, on all the Form 3 models of the V series, you can just take off the front plate, then mount the driver on the main front baffle, and then re-screw the front baffle, and then it looks actually nice and slick and clean. And you only see the grille on the drivers, around the drivers, where you see these little circles. Also, you see 2 colors. We have the V Series 4 in black, or we have them in this special color called white noise. Also, which is pretty cool, you can't break any switches on the back because the entire black, as you can see, is completely flat, so there's nothing sticking out. And as you can also see, there's a few dip switches where you can also make a few more adjustments, like you dim the lights on the front. So if you're working in a little more darker environment, you can dim them down. You can even switch them off if you want to. You can apply a standby, which is also good, so you don't need to crawl behind your desk and switch off the monitor. They do it themselves after 30 minutes of not being used. In the V Series 4, there's actually 3 models available. Now you got the V Series 4, the V Series 6, and the V Series 8. And the names are basically coming from the size of the drivers. 4-inch driver, that's a 6.5-inch driver, sometimes even notified as a 7-inch driver, but basically, technically, it's a 6.5-inch driver. And then here is a 8-inch driver. That's pretty much all from my end. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any more or seek any more information, then please visit us at our KRK website, krksys.com. And yeah, thanks for watching.